Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast, a radio show coming to you on this Friday, December the 31st, 2021. Happy New Year's Eve, crazy kids out there. It is about 2:45 here, Scottsdale time. But I wanted to get you guys one last episode out before the end of the year, as I promised you. Most likely we'll be back on Sunday. We'll bring Heather in and we'll kind of do like a goal setting, finding your North Star, New Year's resolution type stuff in terms of your nutrition, your fitness, any of your health goals. And then obviously if you have stuff career, finance wise in between there, we'll kind of touch on the entire wheel, if you will. But today's episode, we are going to chat about what if you could live a different life. And I'm going to put this together in 4 different pieces. I got a great message from my homie Travis Merritt, who I've mentioned Travis many times before in this podcast. I met him in a mastermind group many years ago of certain individuals who had to be doing pretty well in your business life. And I met him, became friends with him, and he puts out a lot of good stuff. I believe he is in Rowlett, Texas. And he sent this over, and I want to echo a lot of the things he talked about if you could live a different life, which I think is very fitting in terms of how we're going to move into 2022. And all of you have been around. Some of you, this is the first podcast. Some of you, this is maybe the 450th podcast. But last 2 years have been a dumpster fire, if I'm going to put it. That's about the most polite way I could put it. A lot of us have dealt with a lot of bullshit. A lot of just stuff dragging on, a lot of, in my opinion, nonsense. Whatever side of the fence you're on, I don't really care. It's been the least amount of fun I think a lot of us have had in the last couple of years. Even people who seemingly on the surface look to be doing great, suffering physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it may be. I've talked about it before many times. You know, last 2 years, business-wise, for us in terms of everything that's digital has completely blown up, and I'm very thankful for that. But definitely not the most fun I've ever had in business, and definitely not the most fun I've ever had living life. So here's to, you know, having 2022 be the final send-off of the shit show we've been, you know, trudging through the last 2 years. I feel like if you guys are familiar with Shawshank Redemption, like Andy Dufresne breaking out of Shawshank, and he's got to basically crawl army style, like army crawl, through 500 yards of shit and piss just to get free. And I feel like we're almost at the end of the 500 yards of shit. So here's to that, everybody. Before I jump in, you guys already know the drill. This podcast is brought to you by my homies at Athletic Greens, the one thing I take every single day. I recently went to Washington/Oregon for Christmas, and I brought my Athletic Greens with me. Why? Because A, I don't want to get sick, I want to feel good, and it's super easy to do. I never miss, especially around the holidays and travel time when you tend to have less access to healthy foods, especially green vegetables, because let's be real, most people, holiday time is cookies, cakes, treats, and bullshit. I take this, so at least I get enough micronutrients in my body. The nice thing about Athletic Greens, it travels with you. 75 whole food ingredients with probiotics and digestive enzymes, so helps keep that gut healthy. And if you guys know anything about the immune system, a majority of it lives in your gut, so you want to keep that, like, you know, kind of atmosphere, or, you know, your microbiome rocking on all levels. Just one simple scoop or serving is the antioxidant equivalent to 10 to 12 servings of fruits and vegetables. How easy is that? If you guys want to check it out, it's the best tasting greens on the planet by far. The site, athleticgreens.com/Jeremy Scott, gets you a year's supply of free vitamin D, which you should already be taking if you really want to be healthy, and 5 free travel packs. And if you're on the fence, you've heard me talk about it, maybe you've heard somebody else talk about it, you've seen an advertisement, if you want to try it, shoot us a message, Instagram DM, fill out the contact page on the website, Facebook, email, however you want to get a hold of us, and I'll have Monica send a pack right from our office to your front door. I don't care what country or state you live in, we will get you a pack 100% for free. Is anybody else doing that? No, but we're crazy here and we give a shit about you, and I want you to start off 2022 with some good habits. And this is a really simple one. If you're lazy, you don't want to take 14 different pills, do this. I promise you it's going to put you on the right track, and then you can start to put all the other pieces into play. If you want to check it out now, athleticgreens.com/JeremyScott. Get hooked up, otherwise hit me up for a free sample pack. Also, we're brought to you by our friends at Dry Farms Wine. Heather loves her wine, and she wanted to get the healthiest version of that. So she actually connected us with our friends over at Dry Farms. I didn't know this about wine. The FDA lets them, most wines, up to 76 additives. So you basically can get a wine that has 76 extra, basically things of bullshit that are packed in there. Dry Farms does not do that. They have the strictest standards. It's organic, obviously it's vegan, it's lower alcohol, it's sugar-free, and it's free of the toxic additives and has lower sulfites, less than 75 ppm. All you wine nuts out there, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's estimated that less than 0.1% of the world's wines meet that criteria. So these guys don't mess around. If you're a wine drinker and you want to check it out, the site is dryfarmwines.com/JeremyScottFitness. And when you order a bottle, they're going to give you another bottle for just a penny. It's basically buy one, get one free. You can give it as a gift. You can keep it at your house. If you guys are going to drink booze, you might as well do it the healthiest way possible, especially if wine is something you do consistently. Like if you did it once a year, I guess who gives a shit? But if you're going to be doing it weekly, or some of you guys daily, I would say doing it with the healthiest version that is, obviously from a biodiverse vineyard that is full of antioxidant-rich grapes, that just isn't packed with a bunch of chemicals and bullshit. I do think if you're doing high volume, it matters. So get a bottle, get the next one for a penny, dryfarmwines.com/JeremyScottFitness, or hit me up for the link and I will get you guys rocking. Also brought to you by our friends at Beam CBD. The site is beamtlc.com. You can put in the code Jeremy Scott for 20% off all products, 35% off all subscriptions. I take the Dream product to sleep probably 5 or 6 nights per week. There's CBD in there, melatonin, theanine as well. It's no THC, so you don't get high, but it helps me fall asleep and stay asleep. I don't wake up feeling groggy or hungover. It's not habit forming. That's why I enjoy it. Heather also uses the salves and the oil a lot. If you guys want a free sample of the Dream, I think I probably have 100 packs here, give or take. So hit me up. We'll send you a couple, see if it helps you get to sleep. And then you can get the code and get hooked up with all the free stuff. Otherwise, beamtlc.com, put in the code Jeremy Scott, and it gets you all of the discounts from there. And we're brought to you by my friends at JLab Pro. This is the company that I've used for my protein, my turmeric, my collagen, and krill oils for the last, I think, over a decade now. They're gonna have a huge New Year's sale, so you can message me for the discount. We always have deals on the protein and the collagen, I believe, but they're gonna do a New Year's kickoff for you guys. The site is jeremyscottfitness.jlabpro.com. You can go on there. I'm happy to send you our supplement guide as well for free, and you guys can check it out. And last but not least, our friends at Kettle and Fire Bone Broth. Best tasting bone broth, hands down. It's great for gut health, digestion. It can help, obviously, joint mobility, skin, hair, nails, which Lord knows we all need. It's perfect for you guys who are keto, paleo, or in the intermittent fasting world. I like them. One, it's the best tasting bone broth, and they maintain, again, super strict standards. Their bone broth is made from bones of cattle and chicken that are humanely raised, no antibiotics, no hormones, and 100% grass-fed and grass-finished. No additives, no bullshit. It's as real as it gets. They do more than bone broth. They have a great chili. They do like a chicken noodle soup, but it's with bone broth instead of just chicken stock, which I think is pretty awesome. If you want to check it out, the code is Scott20 for 20% off. We can send you the link as well. I'm a huge fan. I tend to sip it when it's cooler here, which for now it's wintertime. It's like 50 degrees. I understand from people that's laughable, but here 50 is cold. So I will put the fire on as I start making my food, slam my athletic greens, and then I usually have bone broth, sip it as I'm grilling a steak, which if you guys watch my Instagram stories, you can see how I roll. So if you want to check it out, code Scott20, at the Kettle and Fire site. Now, as we dig in here to the episode, we have a program launching. You guys are probably familiar. Many of you have done it before. I thank you for that. If you want to jump back in, happy to have you for a second round. Some people have done this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 times, something kind of crazy. It's our 47-day transformation. It starts on January the 10th. You have 8 days from right now to register. The website is 47daytransformation.com. If you guys are really serious and you want a podcast discount code, I'm happy to offer you one. It's obviously 47 days. We go deep on nutrition, deep on real food, coach you guys on macros. I share a lot of stuff that I do at my house inside a private Facebook group. We check in on you once a week. The workouts come Monday through Friday. 3 kind of like Metcons, 2 more loading days, and a lot of personal development stuff. A lot of things that are outside of just fitness, where if you're talking about a transformation of your mind as well as your body, this would be the program. I was kind of the first person to ever go through this because I used to be, for lack of a better term, kind of a bag of shit. And now I'm this human in the world. And I have to attribute a lot of that to just auditing my habits, my rituals and routines, and just changing what I was doing. And if you guys are interested, this would be the program for you. It's going to challenge you, and it'll change you if you let it. And so if you want to check it out, 47daytransformation.com, hit me up for a podcast discount code. Happy to get you guys in there. But it's something that's going to really kickstart you and hopefully teach you a set of skills you can have with you for the next 47 years, not just something that dies at 47 days. And I always say this, of the digital stuff we've done, overall, I'm probably the most proud of this because I know the impact it can have on people. And obviously we've done, fitness stuff that just supersedes this, which is just fitness-based, but this is much deeper than that. So if you're interested, check it out, hit me up. Love to have you guys in there. It's always an awesome support group of like-minded kind of badass humans, and I think a lot of you guys can benefit from it. So hit me up. Otherwise, 47daytransformation.com. Now, before I jump into the bones of this podcast, Mike Samuel put out just an absolute gem the other day about kind of ending the year and, like I mentioned earlier, the dumpster fire that we've all lived through. And I'm just going to read it because I could not have written it any better myself. I'll probably share it on our newsletter later this week. Again, if you guys want to be on the newsletter, hit me up. I have Monica add you. We send out at least 3 messages every single week. This week, I believe we'll send out 6 because it's a program launch. 99% of the things we send out are just content-based to help you guys live a healthier, happier life, to educate you, maybe inspire you, motivate you, or get you thinking outside the box. 1% of the time, we're offering things you can buy. So, not really salesy. I would do every single one of them for free if I had, $100 million, but I'm slightly short, so we got to sell some shit to keep things running here. But Mike wrote this, and I quote, "We are now 21 months into the biggest global health scare most of us have seen in our lives. If you're still living in fear every day, but you haven't made an effort to get your body weight and fat into healthy ranges, eat copious amounts of sugar, hydrogenated fats, and highly processed foods. Don't exercise at least 3 times a week. Haven't been supplementing with simple things like vitamin D and zinc. Smoke, take recreational drugs, and consume more than a minimal amount of alcohol. Then my question would be whether you're really afraid or if you just like the drama around what's been going on right now. It absolutely does not have to be a binary choice between natural health interventions and modern medicine. They go hand in hand very well. And obviously, vulnerable people are the exception here. But if you're scared of getting sick and you're relying on governments to get us out of this, but not doing the very simple, very basic things to make yourself healthier, Well, I have a great idea for your New Year's resolution. End quote. You can just drop the mic right there and call it a day. That is everything that I have been echoing for the last 2 years. Honestly, the last 17 years I've been doing this, but really the last 2, because, you know, the times we're in, I guess, really trying to hammer it home. It blows my mind. And I talked about it today with Monica here in the office about you're almost 2 years in to this, and still, if you would have made health, fitness, nutrition the focal point of talking, you could have changed a lot of lives. You had people's attention, you had them on TV, you scared the shit out of them, but you didn't scare them into doing the right things. And that's my problem. Now again, it's not binary. I'm not saying you don't have to do all the protocols or tactics that people are suggesting. You do what you want in terms of that. I'm not the boss of you. But if you're doing those things, but not eating better and not cutting back on drinking and doing drugs, and you're not exercising, you're not getting quality sleep, I don't think you're really understanding. If you're healthy, everything in life is better. If you're healthy, everything in your life is easier. If you take care of yourself, everything is better. It just is. Being fit and healthy and strong and be able to run, to jump, to skip, to move and feel good is the coolest fucking thing there is. There's nothing cooler to me. I'm biased. I run a business called Jeremy Scott Fitness. Obviously, I'm going to say that, but think about it. Is being super strong ever a weakness? Is being super mobile ever a weakness? Is being super fit, is having endurance, is feeling good a weakness? No, it is the coolest thing ever. You don't gotta be super rich for it. You're not gonna inherit it. It's not, you don't gotta be a fucking genius either. You can just take care of your body. When you walk into a room, people respect you. There's a level of respect there for people who try, who literally just take pride in their physical body. And I don't mean the vanity part. I'm not saying just how you look. Just physically, people who can perform, people who have endurance, people who just put effort in. I respect that more than anything. And as Monica and I were talking today, obviously as we're coming up into a new year, we get people who obviously will join the 47-day. They'll start to inquire about coming into the facility here. Really, I know people say it's the January 1st rush. That's not really true. Most of our folks are gonna kind of trickle in here January 3rd, which is the Monday. But really new people, they'll come towards the end of January. And I think the biggest influx I tend to see here is like later February, because the weather starts to get nice. In March in Scottsdale, it's like perfect. It's typically the busiest time it ever is. Spring training is here, the Phoenix Open, Barrett-Jackson, the weather starts to get warm, so people realize like, well, fuck, now I gotta, wear less clothes or put a swimsuit on, and they wanna be fit. We can't work magic for them in a month, but that's what people think. We tend to see it that way. And also this time of year, people are kind of evaluating. We get some people this week who are gonna obviously not come back to the gym. They're gonna do something different, or maybe not do anything. And I never judge anybody. I don't know their entire story. I let people do what they wanna do. And I can only help people who wanna help themselves. The number one tip I could give anybody, and I'm sure I'll echo this with Heather on Sunday, the number one thing you can do is just do not quit. Just keep showing up. Keep putting in effort and keep trying. I respect that from anybody more than anything else. All of you guys aren't gonna deadlift 600 pounds. All of you guys aren't gonna run a mile in under 6 minutes. All of you guys aren't gonna be at 6% body fat. All of you guys won't be able to dunk a basketball. All of you guys won't be able to do the splits, and all of you guys, won't be, Brad Pitt from Troy, or, Beyonce. Like that, sometimes it's just not gonna happen. Genetics, age, whatever it may be. However, you can be super healthy, can be super fit, can be super strong and happy with your body, in your life, and your efforts. If you just consistently show up, that's what matters. Even if you're doing a program that I would think is maybe kind of bullshit, if you consistently do it, you're consistently challenging yourself, you're consistently sweating, you're consistently eating right, you're getting good sleep, you're taking the proper supplements, you're doing mobility and tissue work consistently, you're gonna be awesome. You're gonna be okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the holy grail. You can miss a couple days here or there, but do not quit. Do not just stop and do nothing. That is the worst fucking thing you can do. The biggest advice I give anybody, if you want to be healthier next year, just consistently try to make a better eating choice. Just consistently try to not drink and eat like complete shit. Just consistently try to show up and be active and do something every single day to be better. There'll be days where you make mistakes. There'll be days when you fail. There'll be days when you're less active. That's okay. But consistently just trying to be better is the game. Sorry, I got a soapbox there. It's just effort, everybody. It's sacrifice, it's effort, it's dedication. And if you just put your head down and you stop worrying about the scale, or you stop worrying about body fat percentage all the time, and you stop worrying about just looking at the fucking scoreboard every 2 minutes, and you just play the game. Just put your head down and just practice, 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 play the game. Eventually, you're gonna come out ahead. It's been my experience, and I know it'll be the same thing for you. End of rant. We're talking about my man, Travis Merritt, who had sent me over this gem. And we're talking about what if you could live a different life, essentially. Now, some of you have probably heard me say this before. To change your body, you're gonna have to change your life. And it's something I tell almost everybody who is looking to make a total mind, body, spirit transformation, whatever you're into. You can lose 10 pounds by making a couple minor tweaks and changes to the current way that you live your life. Eating one less crappy meal a week, walking 10,000 steps a day. Over time, that can result in fat loss and weight loss with very, very little impact on your life. That's how simple it can be for some of you listening, depending on where you're at in your journey. If you just eat one less garbage meal, drink one less day a week, if you're getting 4,000 steps a day, get 10. That can drop 10 pounds off your body like that. And how much does that impact your life? Little to none. But this isn't just for people wanting to lose 10 pounds. This is for people who are wanting to completely transform their bodies and turn it into something different. It's for people who are wanting to look different, feel different, move different, which to me is the most important, and just overall become a different person, like a better person, a better version of you, a more resilient, more, I guess, buffed up, badass version of the person that is listening to this today. Because to transform not only your body, but your life, you have to live a different life. And that's the one thing maybe we have failed as fitness professionals and coaches to tell people. If you want to transform your body, you have to live a different life. You really do. And small changes equal pretty big results in my opinion, but big changes can change everything. So you're not just transforming your body, you're really transforming your overall life and your lifestyle. That means making different day-to-day decisions. That's the heart and soul of everything. Your current day-to-day decisions are the reason you are in the situation you're in right now. It's the reality. If you want to get out of that situation, you're going to have to make different day-to-day decisions and choices. I've echoed this a million times. Your results lie in your habits, your rituals, and your routines. The ones that you compound to do every single day, that's what adds up. On the flip side, if you're not doing something, you're probably not getting the results. If you look at every single area of your life that you're awesome in, that you're successful in, that you feel proud of, you put the time in, you put the effort in, you're putting energy into it. If you look at the areas of your life that you suck in, things you're not good at, maybe your finances are out of whack, maybe your mobility is shit, or you have a crappy relationship with your mom or dad. you're probably not putting in the time, effort, and energy it takes to improve those areas of your life. I know it sounds super simple, but if it was so simple, wouldn't you have fixed it by now? If it was so simple, wouldn't most people be fit? If it was so simple, wouldn't most people be, financially free and independent? It's not as simple as it seems. And this is where, the wave of truth kind of comes in. Everybody listening to this, you've all created a routine. Now, most people, they create routines that are easy and comfortable for them. Why wouldn't you, right? Like, who wants to live a rough life, I get it. I'm not judging anybody, but you create routines that are easy and comfortable. You don't have to think about it. It's kind of just all automatic at this point. People tend to seek easy in just about everything they do. It's the path of least resistance, and to go off the beaten path is hard. It's not fun. There's a lot of sacrifice involved. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of struggle. But sadly, that's where things change. That's where you grow. But let's define hard, right? Hard for most people means that they have to make an active attempt to change a daily routine or automatic behaviors. A lot of people don't want to do this. They want easy. They want comfort. They want now. They don't want hard. But not you. If you're listening to me right now, you're at least willing to dip your toe in the painful waters of what it takes to make a change. You understand that hard just means different, and that different and becoming or looking different is what you are seeking. If you are still listening to me after all these years, or shit, even if you're 28 minutes in right now, if you made it that far, that means that you want to change, and you're not scared of change, and you're not scared of hard. You're not afraid of hard work. You might just not know where to start, and that's where I'm going to talk about coaching in a little bit and kind of setting yourself up to be successful next year. I've done an entire podcast, and we've written a blog that's back in the day when blogs were like the most popular thing. I think it was the most popular one we ever put out, and it was titled Life is Hard, and playing off the premise of you get to basically pick which hard you want to have in your life. And the way I frame it to people here who give me I don't have time, it takes too much effort, it's going to be too difficult, I don't know if I can do it. The older I get, I don't want to say the less patience I have the same amount of patience, I just don't have time for a lot of bullshit. And it's the way we think about things, right? Like for most people, perspective and gratitude are the game. They always have been, they always will be, and that's when things become real. And people will say, well, it's too hard to do this, Jeremy. It's too hard to track macros. It's too hard to do mobility every day. It's too hard to show up and work out with you 3 times a week for 30 minutes or 90 minutes total. And I get it. It takes effort, it takes sacrifice, it takes energy. And it's hard. And it's also hard to be 300 pounds when you're supposed to be 180 pounds. It's hard when you have a struggle to tie your shoes. It's hard when you can't go hiking because you have no energy. It's hard when you're so overweight and immobile you can't play with your kids. It's hard when none of your clothes fit. It's hard when you don't have self-confidence because of the body that you're living in. It's hard when you can't do things other people can do. I get it. It's also hard waking up at 5 a.m. to go work out. It's hard to track your macros consistently. It's hard to skip happy hour once in a while. It's hard to eat really well Monday through Friday so you can enjoy, some cheat meals with your friends and family. It's hard to do mobility instead of just lay on the couch and watch Netflix. The point I'm driving at is you guys get to pick your hard. Do you want the hard of remorse, regret, and lack of self-confidence and hating the environment that you've created for yourself? Or do you want the hard up front of waking up early, training, eating right, doing the things you're supposed to do, and having it easier on the back end. Personally, I'll take the hard of sacrifice, dedication, and putting in the work now so I can reap the benefits later. And there's something that comes with that. You transform when you make those life decisions. Again, this is for everything in life. If we approach life and fitness this way, everything would be easier for you on the back end. But people don't want to make the sacrifices today. It's very difficult, what I've learned over the last 15 years or so, for people to pay the price today because they can't see the promise of tomorrow, or the promise of a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now. And maybe I could see it because I always sucked at everything, and I had to work really hard to get even to a level of proficiency at sports or school, or learning finances. And over time, I just got better, and I just kept working and working and working, and then eventually it started to pay off. I'm telling you guys, you'll never have more time in your life than you do right now to make these simple changes. Today is the day. If you're serious about a New Year's resolution, and you should have worked out today, the last day of 2021. You don't gotta wait till 2022. Nothing magic's gonna happen at midnight. You don't gotta wait till Monday. Don't give away any more days. And I know a lot of you are hearing me say this, and this is kind of like this motivational talk to hopefully get you fired up to quit making bullshit excuses of why you're fucking around. But you might not know exactly what to do. And that's where a coach comes in. I've had coaches my whole life. Sports as a kid, all the way up, all the way through college. Whether you like your coach or not, it's a different story. Some of them have changed my life and been, integral in me becoming this person. Some of them I thought were complete assholes, but I learned a lot of stuff from them either way. And I'm better off because they were in my life. Regardless if we had different ideologies or different personal beliefs about stuff, they helped me get here. I was better because they were there. The teams I was on were better because we had a coach. I know what I know about business because I had business coaches and I had an entire team. I know what I know about finance because I have financial advisors. Like, we have attorneys, we have CPAs. I can lean on them because they're experts in the field. That doesn't dismiss me from knowing my shit and doing my own research, my own studying, and my own questioning, but you have a coach to rely on. I think it's key for everyone. In fitness, I am friends with some of the fittest people on earth, some of the biggest fitness freaks you'll ever meet. Actually, I'm gonna bring Colleen up. Bring Colleen Fosh back on the podcast on January the 9th. Freak show. BJ Gaddour, freak show. Alexia Clark, freak show. Hannah Eden, freak show. David Jack, freak show. That's my circle. I would not be this fit without these guys. I could list 100 people. That's just off the top of my head. All of you guys are the same. Get a training buddy, get a community, get a coach that motivates you, inspires you, or at least wants you to show up. Because a coach, especially a good one, teaches you how to live a different life. It's not just sets and reps. A lot of people are confused about what gyms are and what communities are. And I think from the outside, you drive by, you don't know me from, Joe's gym down the street, and like, oh, Jeremy Scott Fitness, it's just another fitness dude. It's not that. We're not just teaching squats here. We're trying to teach people how to live a healthier, happier life. And I try to do it by leading from the front. I'm not talking about just what we do here at Jeremy Scott Fitness, though I'll bring it up in a second. I'm talking about a coach in every aspect of your life. In your fitness, in your business, in your finance, in your relationships, in your self-care, in love. The list goes on and on. Whatever you want to improve on, I do think you're always better with a goal, a community, and a coach. Those are the three big things that lead most people to success. Obviously, you have to have a drive and a will and a not quit attitude. But even, again, Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson. Kobe Bryant had Phil Jackson. Tom Brady had Belichick. Like, all these great people had a coach and a community and a team to lift them up. Now, they might have been killers, but they did better with leadership around them. Getting a coach to show you the way while you're not quite there yet is the key. Getting a coach to show you may not make it any easier because you still have to put the effort in, but the coach is going to be able to direct you where your effort needs to go. And that direction will make your results happen a lot faster. So what I mean by that is I can't make the sled lighter for somebody. 200 pounds is 200 pounds. It's not going to fucking move unless you push it. I can't make the assault bike cows go any quicker for them. So I'm not going to make it easier for them. However, I'll be able to direct them where the effort needs to go. Hand placement, foot placement, effort input, pack the elbows tight, drive through the heel. They're going to get it done quicker and they're going to get the results a lot faster. I can't make, eating asparagus any sexier for you guys. Sorry. It tastes what it tastes like. I can't make, chicken taste like pizza. If I could, I'd be a trillionaire by now. However, we can talk you through ways to prepare it, ways to flavor it, ways to season it, ways to put it into your diet, ways to track your macros. So you have the direction you need to go in and you're going to get the results a lot faster because of it. So if you're listening to this, I don't want you to feel like you're alone. Because if you can listen to me, if you can get a local coach, if you have a brother, sister, friend, family member, a community, an inner circle, people you can rely on, it's going to make things go a lot quicker for you in terms of results. When you have a community, when you have a coach, you have someone you can listen to, someone who can lay out a roadmap for you. They can answer your questions. They can talk you through ups and downs, because you're going to have those. You're going to have some experiences that suck. You're going to have some awesome ones too. Someone you can share success with. And that's something I want to touch on super quick. I don't want to get lost here. Obviously, when you're down in the dumps and you're eating shit and you take 10 losses, having a friend, fellowship, inner circle, a community, and a coach to talk to, they're going to pull you out of that shit. When you ate too much trash over the holidays, you skipped a couple workouts and you want to quit on yourself and you're having a fucking pity party, a good coach, I might not be the pat on the back kind of guy, but I'm going to pull you out of that shit with some tough love, but with a handout. So I'm going to tell you, like, yeah, you fucked up, dude, but who cares? We can't live in the past. Let's get out of the shit and let's go. Put the shoes on and get cooking. Like, we don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. That's what a good coach is going to do. That's what a community is going to do for you guys. And you need that. You need to be listening to things, reading things, and being around people that inspire you and don't suck the life out of you. And same goes when you hit the milestones and the benchmarks. Share that. Share it with the community. Like, we do the Sunday Advanced Metcons here selfishly because I want to work out, but we want people to challenge themselves. We want to build a community. We want to build fellowship. We want to build camaraderie. We want people to see how they're improving. That's why we keep record boards here. That's why we do the 47-day transformation and every other program. We want people to change. We want them to be in a group where they can high-five each other and be like, fuck yeah, dude, you lost 14 pounds. Let's kick ass. Oh, you dropped 2 dress sizes. Great. Oh, you did 10,000 steps a day when you're only doing 3 before. They can celebrate the wins for you, because success doesn't mean anything if you have no one to share it with. And I mean that. One of my favorite quotes, I share it all the time here, Christopher McCandless, if you've seen Into the Wild, great movie, it's super sad. If you've never seen it, I urge you to watch it. It can change your life if you let it. I mean, at least it had a huge impact on mine. And the quote that he wrote down was, happiness only real when shared. Happiness is only real when shared. As I've gotten older, I believe that more than ever. Heather and I talk about, our life and different things of what we want to do, and if we'd ever live anywhere other than here. And today she just sent me this. If you guys have seen Yellowstone, she sent me a house that looked like a Yellowstone type house. I'm talking the TV show, Kevin Costner, Cole Hauser. And she sent it to me. It's in somewhere in Oregon, and it looks super cool. And I'm like, yeah, and obviously way cheaper than if I were to buy it in my, basically costs what my house costs, and it's like 10 times the size, because it's way cheaper there than obviously Scottsdale. And she sent it over to me, and I'm like, yeah, that's super badass, but I would be sad there, because I don't have a community there. I don't have any friends there. I don't have any family there. And yeah, I could, I guess, try to recreate that, but I put too much time in here and my roots have grown because my happiness is shared here with everybody else. None of this matters. Like, I wouldn't do any of this if it wasn't for you guys. I would do some of it, obviously, like I'd work out, but I wouldn't be doing podcasts if everybody wouldn't listen. I wouldn't write blogs. I wouldn't send out all the stuff. And there's community in there. And all my wins are shared with you guys through the comments, through the feedback. And I'll touch on that later on in the podcast. And I have a community here that obviously believes in what we do, and I can share my wins with them as well. It's super important to do. And that's what a good coach does, and that's what a community does for people. And that's why I've said this many times the last 2 years, personally and professionally, my business, it's all the same at this point. Digitally, the internet stuff has taken off completely. It's changed a lot in terms of monetary wise. We've made money in ways that I never thought was possible, and I'm still super humbled by it. I'll never get used to it. But it was the least amount of fun I've ever had. And I know it's weird for people to hear that, because I didn't have the same relationships. For a big chunk of it, it was the pandemic. You had to stay at home. You couldn't go to the gym. You could barely meet with people. I didn't have anybody to share it with. And the one thing I've learned about myself, and this is off topic quick, is I realize the only real reason I enjoy making money is so I can be more giving and do cool shit for other people. Now I'm gonna buy myself some nice stuff here as I get older, because otherwise I'm gonna die with money, and somebody else will get it, and I want to go out on zero because I'm selfish as fuck. Joking, but not really. My point is, I realized on this journey of like helping people, obviously you help enough people, you make enough money, we can adopt more families. We can give away more t-shirts. We can let people come in here for free off the streets, to invite them in and get them into fitness and get them active. We can gift fitness to friends and family members. It's important to me. I can buy Christmas gifts and do cool things and give people experiences and pay for dinners when we go out with friends and clients, and it's super cool. And that's what this community has brought to me, is a realization that all I'm really doing is trying to help as many people as possible. And even with the fruits of the labor, I want to share those with others. Because it doesn't do it for me if I just did it for myself. And I think you guys will realize that fitness is much more than just sets and reps. It is community. And I think all of you need that. And if you can find that with a small group of people, if you can find that with a coach and with a gym, do that, because you'll be way more successful because of it. Sorry I got off track there for a second, but if you find a great program, they're going to show you the ropes on how to live a new life, and they're going to show you the life that you need to live in order to get the results you want. That's why every coaching group we do, 47-day transformation, 5-week face melter, 28-day fasting for fat loss, 40 days of fitness, 30 for 30, whatever we do here, there's always a community aspect to it. There's always. And we coach every program we do. We don't want you to buy something and then go about your way. Ask me questions. Send in the feedback. Be in the group. Watch the videos. Interact with everybody else. That's going to help you more than anything else. A great coach, a great community, a great organization, even if that's your job, they're going to show you how to live a new life to get the results you want. And let's just say you want to be, let's say, better at finance, for example. You want to be in a better financial position overall than you are right now. Well, you're in this financial position today because of your day-to-day actions, of your day-to-day spending, of the monetary decisions you've made. A good coach, a good advisor, a good CPA, they're going to help you relearn how to live in a way that's going to get you to your financial goals. It'll be a different way of life than you're living now, but you'll hit your financial targets. Do you want the hard now, or do you want the hard later? It's why I think a lot of people in this country struggle with fitness, because it's this huge delayed gratification. It's the same reason I feel people struggle with finances. It's delayed gratification. Nobody wants to invest their money because it sucks, because you can't buy a bunch of cool, fun shit with it today. but you can later on. Nobody wants to work out super hard for 3 months and eat the way they're supposed to eat because their body doesn't change a lot, but it does in 3 years. It's the delayed gratification of it. Fitness, finance, or anything in between, it's all the same. You gotta work, you gotta grind, you gotta eat shit, you gotta be in the dirt before you can go hang out in the stars. You get it? Like, you gotta work down here before you can grow to the very top. Same goes for self-care. Your level of personal self-care is a result of your day-to-day actions and the things that you do 24/7, 365. It's a result of how you live now. A coach is going to show you and teach you how you need to live day to day, what your day-to-day life needs to look like for you to have the self-love that you want, to be this positive, kick-ass, badass human being. And of course, obviously, there's the health and fitness aspect of it that we do. Your body, the way that it looks, the way that it moves, the way that it feels is a result of what you've been doing up to this point. Because of the way you live your life, because the way that you eat, because the way that you drink, how you stress, how you sleep, how much mobility and foam rolling you do or don't do, how much metabolic work you're putting in, how much aerobic activity, how much strength training you're doing. Everything that you are doing, the vehicle that you're sitting in right now, listening to me ramble on, is a result of all the action and effort you've put in. Your body is your business card, as the great B.J. Gador once told me, and I believe it to be true. We judge people, and I don't think it's right. I'm not a fan of it at all, but we do. We judge people on how they look. When someone walks into a room, people are judging you. It's the biggest thing I think we discriminate on in life, above anything else, above race, above finance, you name it, just my opinion. When you see someone who's super fit and they're moving good and they look like they have energy, we're judging them. When you see someone who is 400 pounds and they're struggling to walk into a room, we judge them. You just do. How attractive people are is the biggest thing we discriminate on, for sure. I'm not a fan of it, but it's the reality. And whatever body you're sitting in today, it's a result of your effort and actions. Now, obviously, side note, there's outliers. People going through chemotherapy, coming off, major surgeries, maybe a life-changing event, just hit a rough patch in general. Again, that's why I'm not a fan of judging a book by its cover, but the world fucking does it. I don't like it any more than you do, but it's the truth. If you're not happy with where you're at because of the habits you've been doing in terms of your alcohol consumption, your drug intake, your food intake, you've been skipping workouts, staying up too late, stressing out at your job, like being super stressed and your job is wearing you out. And a side note, the job will replace you. If you died today, they'd run an ad and find somebody else in a month. And I hate to say that, and it's super sad, but it's the reality. I'm not saying don't try at your job, give it effort, try, do the best you can, but it's just a job. You owe them 9 to 5. You don't fucking owe them anything else. That's it, which still leaves you enough time to be healthy. But a lot of people need to hear that. And a good coach is going to show you how to live a life differently so you can get the results and the transformation that you want, and more importantly, you deserve. And again, some people are ready for coaches, and some people are ready for tough love, and some people are not. And if you're not, that's okay. There's no judgment here. You can start whenever you are ready. But if you are, take a leap and get one. Whether it's with us in our 47-day transformation, whether it's the guide on the street. If you're in a community and you want somebody, message me. I'm happy to connect you to anybody in my circle if I know anybody good. And if I don't, I'm sure I'm one coach away from knowing somebody who's pretty fucking good in your area. I urge you to do that if you're ready to do it, because it matters. And yes, things are going to get hard some days. They'll suck. You'll take losses. You'll stumble, you'll fall, you'll fail. There'll be some shitty moments, but remember, hard is not bad. Hard just means different. And living a different life gives you different results. I believe it's the Dave Ramsey quote, and Jerry Rice says something similar. Obviously Dave is older than Jerry, but I read them both probably about the same time. If you do things today that other people won't, you can do things tomorrow that other people can't. So if you're willing to live a life today that very few people will, later on you can live a life that really nobody can. And what that means is if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of time from watching Netflix or just these other, what I consider low return on investment activities, and really put the time into being healthier, you're gonna be able to live a life at 45, 55, 65, 75, 85 that these people can't. Because you put the work in when they were fucking around being lazy. You're gonna be light years ahead. It's up to you. The same thing works for your money, right? Like everybody today who's, and again, I'm not judging here. It's just, I'm getting old, so I've seen enough here. The people who want it too quick, the people who want to be fancy before they can be fancy, they're gonna struggle as they get older. And I see it here every day. The stress starts to add up and the lifestyle starts to weigh on people. What I'm talking about is if you're willing today to just, live as cheap as you can, as long as you can. Invest your money into assets that go up, not things that go down in value. I'm a fan of paying off your debts and just living a life with less stress. You're gonna be set up for financial freedom a lot faster than you could ever realize, when a lot of other people are always playing catch up and being stressed. And this is not a finance podcast, but there's a lot of ways you can go about doing that. I'm happy to talk you guys through it. I've done it myself. And if I was once a guy completely dead broke with no clue what was going on, and I became this person, you can too. But remember, it's hard to do that. It's hard to drive an older shitty car. It's hard to wear your clothes a little bit longer. It's hard to live in a smaller house. But hard doesn't mean bad, it just means different. And living a different life is gonna give you different results. And then eventually you'll be able to do whatever the hell you want, and you'll do it in a way that's stress-free to you, and you'll do it in a way that's a blessing and not a stressor. And I think that's the key. It works for everything in your life. And I wanna touch on this before I give you guys a last message and I'll let you go. Pat Rigsby sent me this over. If you're trying to make a major change in your life in 2022, whether it's your health, your fitness, your nutrition, obviously getting a coach in a community, I think at this point, I think is crucial. The other takeaway would be, you gotta beware of dream killers. You know what I'm talking about. This is the time where if you're gonna make resolutions and you're gonna really try to make a transformation, you gotta cut bait from the people that are holding you back from being the person you want to be, you deserve to be, and you probably need to be. As a kid, we naturally have, these wild and wonderful imaginations, and you can easily picture how our lives could be. I think if you go back to whatever age you were, 10, 12, 14, 16, think about how you envisioned your life and what you thought it would be, or maybe what you thought it could be. Obviously, when I'm super little, I wanted to be Batman, so that didn't happen. I'm not quite a billionaire, and I'm not as good looking as Christian Bale is, and I don't live in a mansion like that. However, as I get older, you get these more realistic fantasies. Then I wanted to be Michael Jordan, and then it was about 10, I realized I wasn't 6'6" and I couldn't dunk from the free throw line, so that dream died. But in all seriousness, I never envisioned my life could even be this today. I really didn't, and I'm being completely transparent with you guys. I never thought there'd be a time where I could even save up enough money to make a down payment on a house, let alone pay off my house in my early 30s and become completely financially independent and own the building that I work in, and be able to be so giving and so kind with money because it didn't matter, because I had more than enough. And I share that not to flex on anybody or make me sound special or important, because I'm not. I share that because I think I never saw that growing up. I never saw people who financially had things all figured out. I never saw people running their own business. I never saw people being super successful from the station in life that I grew up in. And I think a lot of that comes from being around people who just have an overly negative attitude. And I was around a lot of that as a kid. A lot of people who were just negative about life in general, and kind of just accepted the station that they were born into and really didn't think there was any way they can change it. You know, they just thought, hey, I grew up poor, I was born poor, and I'm going to die poor. Or I grew up in an environment and education where people weren't, you know, of advanced degrees, where people weren't really crushing it, where people weren't entrepreneurial, they weren't traveling the world. I never saw that. And that's part of what I'm talking about when I say dream killers. Because you all had hopes and dreams and goals, and maybe some of them have died and you've given up on them. And I ask why? Because we all have the capacity to dream. We all have the capacity to make believe, and we all have the desire to build a dream world for ourselves. Now, desire and actually putting, you know, hammer to nail or pen to paper are two different things, but we all have the desire to do that. But as we grow older, unfortunately, we run into some very dangerous people. And that's what I'm talking about when I say dream killers. Now, luckily for me, I'm now surrounded by people who are not that way. I have 0 dream killers in my life. And I mean that. There's fucking 0 people who do not believe in anything that I say. There's 0 people in my life who would ever tell me I can't do something. In fact, I have the opposite. I have people who I think sometimes think I'm Superman, or they think I'm more, you know, they think I'm like Bruce Willis from Unbreakable. Like if the train was to crash, I'd be the only one alive with no cuts or scrapes. Neither of those are true, although I look like Bruce Willis. People have this belief in me, and I've surrounded myself with positive people who are successful, who go after what they want and really just try to get the most out of life. And that's everything. But when I was younger, a lot of negativity, a lot of dream killers, and they were everywhere. And some of you are suffering from that. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons. Some of you might not be as healthy, as happy, as confident, or as successful as you should be because you got shitty people in your life. And I'm not telling you to get divorced. I'm not telling you to cut off your parents. I'm not telling you to dump all your friends. However, just have a level of self-awareness and understand, is this person telling me something because they're jealous and they're pissed that they didn't do it and they want to hold me back and they want to keep me down at this level? Or are they saying it out of genuine concern? Only you can answer that. But for a lot of you listening, there are people who constantly tell you that you probably can't do things, that you should be careful not to fail. These people, again, they might be your friends, they might be your relatives, they might be your parents. Hopefully they're not one of your coaches, and they might even be total strangers, honestly. And if you're reading comments on the internet, stop that shit, because those people they're not gonna, unless they're positive, you can read those. The negative shit, let that go. Those people can't help you. You have to be vigilant to ensure that negativity does not influence the way that you think in any way. I'm gonna repeat that. Moving into the new year, you have to be vigilant and ensure that dream killers, negativity, assholes do not influence your goals, your dreams, and your thinking in any way. Instead of surrounding yourself with what we call the dream killers, try to find dream builders. People who are positive, people who are motivated, people who are like-minded, people who are successful in multiple areas of your life. Those are the people you need to be with. And where you can't avoid the dream killers, I don't know if you're married to one, I don't know if your parents are those, or your brother, sister, or some people you work with. You got to build some barriers. You got to set some boundaries to keep your vision safe, to keep your goals safe, to keep your North Star in front of you. Because if you don't, they're going to drag you down. They're going to drown you. They should be called like dream drowners, because that's really what it is. They fucking just drowned all the energy out of your body. They really, what's the phrase? Find people who will fan your flame instead of piss on your fire. And a lot of people have that. They might even do it, you know, almost like subliminal or on the low, kind of just small side offhanded comments. And we've all had them in our lives. And it's tough, dude. You know, I'll share this being completely transparent. I love my old man. I have the best relationship I've ever had with him, probably now. And what is he, 60? He's in his 60s. I don't know. My mom always lies about her age. Sorry, Mom. I can't tell how old she is. And that's usually how I gauge how old my dad is. I could text him because he'll tell me he doesn't give a shit. But he's in his 60s. And I've said this before. He's very much like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. You know, get off my lawn. He's that dude. And my whole life, he's just a very cut and dry. And when I was younger, he just was very glass half empty. Love him to death. He's the kindest person you'll ever meet. He's way nicer than me. He's the guy who would shovel the neighbor's driveway. Like, our neighbors were old. Now we have a snowblower because we're fancy. When I was a kid, cheap as fuck. Had to shovel that shit. Thanks a lot, Dad. But now he has a snowblower. So he'll snowblow the neighbor's driveway next to us. Our neighbor across the street's older than my dad. He's snowblowing his driveway, and anybody else in the neighborhood he can. This is a dude who been working 2 full-time jobs. He's in his 60s, out snowblowing people's driveways when it's 10 fucking below. I say that because I got to paint a picture here. Kind, giving, and no offense, if I'm in Minnesota, everybody, I'm not doing that for you. Sorry. You got to shovel your own snow. But that's the kind of person he is. But when I grew up, just life in general, working a ton, just not very positive about his life and the station he's at, and just obviously dealing with probably his own stuff. And as I've gotten older, he's changing slowly, but I grew up in that environment. So I have a dad who's kind of like negative outlook on life, just wasn't super positive. But the one thing I'll say, he never told me I couldn't do something. And that's the key. When I told him, hey, I'm gonna start a fitness business, I promise you on the other end of the phone, in his head, he's gotta be like, this fucking idiot. This kid's gonna leave a corporate job and do fitness for a living? What a complete moron. But he never said it to me. Never said one negative thing, never doubted me. It wasn't a second that he didn't support me, so I appreciate that. I know a lot of you maybe grew up in a household with parents, you know, who maybe weren't the most positive, or maybe have friends or family who weren't the most positive, and that's okay, as long as they believe in you. As long as they don't pass that negativity onto you. Now, some of it obviously seeped into me at some point, and it's not just that. I had a bunch of fuckface friends and a bunch of other things, but the point I'm at is you have to surround yourself with people who are going to just support your vision and your goals no matter what. They can be negative in their own world, that's fine, as long as they're willing to pass on positivity to you and a belief in you. So as you head into 2022, make this the focal point in reaching all your goals. One, consistency, obviously. But know who you surround yourself with, that shit matters. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. You can't change the people around you. You're not gonna change your mom or dad. You're not gonna change your brother or sister. You're not gonna change your husband or wife. You can't do that. You don't have the power to. They have to be willing to want to change themselves. And so knowing that you can't change the people around you, you can change the people around you. I'll repeat that because I know it sounds confusing. You can't change the habits and the attitudes of the people around you, but you can move into a different circle of people. So meaning you can change the people around you. Insert yourself into a different group of people. That's the only way it can be done. Let that be your mantra for 2022. If you've been surrounded by some negative, energy sucking vampires, you need people pumping positivity into your body, not sucking all the awesome stuff out of it. That's the takeaway. And finally, before I let you guys go, I sent this out on our newsletter today. Again, if you guys want to be added to it, I'm happy to put you on there. We send out a lot of what I think is helpful stuff. I shot this out on Instagram as well, as our Facebook, LinkedIn, and basically all of our social stuff. It's just a thank you. And I mean this sincerely to all the people who've supported us at Jeremy Scott Fitness. this last couple of minutes is nothing about fat loss or building muscle or macros or motivation. It's just simply a thank you letter to all you guys. Some of you are brand new. Some of you just trickled in, last week. Really quick backstory. Jeremy Scott Fitness started in 2005. That's when I got my first training certification. Still remember it to this day. Pat Gamboa was grading the test. That was at the ISSA. He ended up basically running the ISSA. Now he's gone. That's how old I am. So 17 years in the fitness game is where I'm at. In 2009, we created a website and a Facebook page. And side note, I've had people that I went to high school with, and I'm old as shit now, message me in the last 5-6 years, say, hey, Jeremy, I really appreciate what you're doing, what you've done, and it's cool to see and watch the journey with you. And I just want you to know, when you started your Facebook business page, we used to just kind of talk shit about you and make fun of you. And I'm sure I looked like the normal, shirtless fitness douchebag. So I take no offense to it. I know what the fuck I was doing. But they're like, it's cool to see where you've come. And we used to make fun of you because we didn't think it would ever work out or anybody could make it. Because let's be honest, who knows of like a retired, fitness coach, right? Like, we're the first kind of breed of this generation. And to see them make those comments now is actually, it's very humbling, and it's very cool to see. So I do appreciate that. But 2009, that's where we're at. And keeping it 100% real with you guys, when we did this, I was just a kid who really didn't know what the hell he was doing with his life. And honestly, I still don't have a clue. I'm just a 17-year-old plain adult. But I do have a better perspective, and I have gratitude for the things I've been given and the gifts that I do have. And I know it's meant to give back to other people. Because if I just did this for money for myself and to buy fancy things, it'd be really hollow and empty. And I believe that would be me kind of abusing and shitting on a gift that I've been given by, God or the universe or unicorn tears, whatever you guys choose to believe in. And truthfully, I started doing this because I just didn't want to hate my life. I didn't want to be that miserable guy who worked a job for 33 years, dreading every single Monday, just wishing away his existence. I felt like that was a sad, terrible way to live life. And selfishly, that's why I did it. I just wanted to enjoy my Thursday and Friday and do something I felt I could be good at, and something that gave my life meaning and honestly helped a lot of people. And so in 2010, we became like a registered LLC, if you will. Obviously, since then, we've branched off and done multiple other entities kind of off of that. But in 2010, I quit my corporate job, started doing this with no clients, no money, no resources, no business background, and no idea of what the hell I wanted it to be. Side note, if you're going to start a business, do not do it that way. That was very dumb of me. But, luckily, I'm like John Wick, and I get obsessed with something, and I'm going to kill everything and everybody in my way to make it happen. So obviously thousands of hours of education and hard work and sweat and relentless effort. Here we are, approaching 2022, just rocking strong. And I share all that just to say thanks to you guys. And I mean it. I wouldn't do it if you guys didn't listen and tune in and watch and share and send us all the amazing feedback you do. So thank you for reading our stuff. And thank you for listening to this podcast, and thank you for sharing our content. Thank you for wearing our gear. Thank you for choosing us to work out with you, whether it be digitally or in person. And some of you guys have never bought anything we've ever done, and you're benefiting from it. So I could give a shit. No, thanks to you guys too. And thanks for including us on your fitness journey. And just thank you for making us a part of your life. And some of you in a really big way, and some of you guys just a small way. It's been a long time, and a lot of you guys have been around before I was on the magazine covers, and before I was working with Men's Health, before Reebok brought me on board, before I ever sold the product online, before we ever did a podcast episode. A lot of you guys were there with me, and I thank you for that. And for those of you, who remember when I was just training at a park, or you remember Jeremy Scott Fitness before, we bought this fancy facility, before the paint and the lights and a fancy website. Just know, if you've been around for a long time, I sincerely appreciate it. You can go anywhere for fitness. You can listen to any podcast, and you're choosing to spend your time to listen to me ramble on. It means a lot. And without all of you guys, and I mean this, every single one of you coming through our doors, buying our programs, working with me in some capacity, whether it be liking, commenting, sharing, listening over the past 17 years, I wouldn't be the person I am today. It's fundamentally changed who I am. And I'm only this person, and I mean this in all capital letters. I am only this person in fitness because you guys give me and continue to give me the opportunity to serve you every single day. I understand you guys have choices with everything you do, and I'm humbled by it. I really am. And Monica and I were talking about it today, and she's been sitting next to me for like 8 or 9 years at this point. And obviously the guys who are around me every day, like, we forget the fact that you guys will come here on vacation and be waiting here at 6 o'clock in the morning to meet me, take a picture with me, and work out here blows my fucking mind. I genuinely, and I mean that. I know people sometimes just say that. I'm humbled by it. I still can't believe it. It's something I'll never get used to. And maybe it's just how I grew up from humble beginnings, who knows? But it means a lot, and I sincerely appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. And I'm always happy to show up for you guys here if I can. Take a photo, give you some gear, whatever words of advice I can give. I try to answer every single question that ever comes in. And I thank you. And I hope that I've given you as much knowledge, education, and passion as you have all given to me over the years. And if you need anything at all, or just want to shoot a message and say thanks, I'm happy to read it and reply back if I can. Obviously, I get busy because I got a lot of responsibility these days. It's not like it was 10 years ago. But I'm always happy to hear from you guys, and I'm always happy to share in your wins and even the losses. So keep the transformations coming, keeping the messages coming. It means a lot to us. Obviously, if you guys are on iTunes, drop us the 5-star, leave the comments. Obviously, now on Spotify, if you listen there, you can drop the 5 stars too. It means a lot. And so, again, just thank you guys. I mean it. If you didn't comment and talk and share, we wouldn't put out this much content. It is, being honest, it is fucking exhausting for sure. I work more now than I ever have, but I have this, kind of renewed energy in the space because I see what it can do when you put positivity out into the world. And I think the world needs a lot more of that. And if I can be that, I'm happy to do it. And you guys are an extension of that. So post your workouts. Post when you crush it. Post when you check into the gym. Post when you're having a good day. Just text a friend. Let people know, like, there is a shift that's happening. Obviously it's small because the world is a big place, but the more positive you guys can be, I think the better off. Like, we have these awesome tools now with podcasts and the social media outlets, and it tends to be the negative people that get the most, attention, that get the most feedback. It's like if you're a teacher in a classroom, you got 30 kids, and you got one kid being a fuckface. The teacher's wasting all the time on this little asshole kid, but they got 29 kids who really want to learn. What we need to do as the 29 good kids is just be louder, just be more positive, just be more badass, and then we'll drown out all the negative shit that's going on in the world. I truly believe that. That's why I get on here and rap for you guys, to help you, hopefully put you in a good mindset to just kick the shit out of everything that's going to come your way in 2022. So again, sincerely, I thank you. It means the world to me. Again, if you're on iTunes, drop us a 5-star, leave a comment. I'd appreciate it. If you guys are on Spotify, drop a 5-star there. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube as always. If you are looking to make a change in 2022, 47daytransformation.com. I will put the link in the show notes, as well as all the other podcast sponsors there. I'll give you guys a podcast discount code if you want to do the 47-day with us. I will be back on Sunday is my plan to wrap with Heather, talking about moving into the new year, even though we did a little bit of that today. We'll catch up with her on her Christmas vacation because she's been gone for over a week. And I'm going to load this podcast. It's almost 4 o'clock here. I need to eat something, start a fire. I'm going to watch Die Hard with my dog tonight. Wild New Year's Eve. Maybe even have a whiskey. Who knows? But I'll be in bed by 10 o'clock. I can promise you that. And back here tomorrow, kicking ass at 6 o'clock in the morning. So thank you guys. Have an awesome New Year's Eve. I appreciate you more than you know. And until next time, eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.